All right, so welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to look into some more of the Crucible uh, with Andrew Wilson. This one is the title of this one is "These Are the People Teaching Your Kids." So this came, I like reacting to some of the stuff that the Crucible does. Of course, I do, but let's just get right into it and check it out and see what it's all about. Let's just jump right into it.
What's in dispute here is not whether or not you can craft societies in which men grant women rights, because I would argue that obviously we can see societies right this second. We live in one where men grant women
Well,
rights.
God, I don't want to interrupt you, but God grants the rights in our society.
Oh, yeah, does he?
Well, that's what the Constitution says.
Well, the Constitution operates on an axiom that all men are created equal under God, right? This is axiomatic. I'm not saying I don't think it's grounded, and I don't think it's well philosophically grounded. While I, as a Christian, would argue that there's some positive rights, um, or at least could argue that there's positive rights. From her view, there isn't rights at all. From your view, rights are a social construct, aren't they?
I mean, rights are whoever is able to enforce them.
That's right. So it's a social construct.
So here we go. This we're supposed to go down the merry-go-round that they just can't follow. They can't quite grasp what Andrew's saying. But basically, her I'm assuming she's not a believer in any. She's probably an atheist or something like that. But Andrew's trying to say that your beliefs in your rights, if you have no grounding in your belief, like a Christianity or whatever, they're just words. They're just something that made up stuff that we enforce men do. You know what I mean? It's just like it's not has no substance. It's just made up stuff that we just choose, like playing around. Hey, you have a right to pee in the corner. We make that right. It's no real backing to it.
But I don't even really dispute with you with the force thing. Like,
Yeah.
who determines a right? Is that by divine right, by God or whatever? But like, as far as like the practical reality of like who can enforce their rights, that really comes down to.
I just want to make sure we get this clear. Is a right a social construction from your view? We make it up. And then we have guns and say, do it or else. Or these people are allowed to do it or else.
There's something about my answer intuitively that wants to say, no, I don't believe it's just like a social thing or a social phenomenon or construct. I don't know, not divine command theory though. So I'm not sure.
So you can't ground it in anything, can you?
I guess not, no.
Yeah, because you just make them up, don't you?
What do you ground it in?
Well, I ground it in God, but I have a different worldview than you. And when we're debating this, we're debating it from the prism of our worldview. While I, as the Christian, might be able to grant that there are rights, why should I ever grant them to you, commie? You don't believe in them at all. From your view, if I take away all of your rights, we just made them the up anyway.
I feel like there's a highly reductive way to characterize my arguments.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but how is it not the case that from your view, we just made them the up? They're not grounded in anything, and if I take them away, how's that even immoral?
You conceive of these things and look at them through lenses that I just don't find useful, or I have not thought to do so.
From the Marxist lens,
they could be useful. No, I'm saying from a Marxist materialist lens, yes. But like, I mean, my general opinion on rights is that they're useless if you only have them de jure, but you don't actually have a way to enforce them. Or similarly, it is, I wouldn't say equally as futile, but it's also a precarious position to be in where you can enforce your rights, but you have not actually secured the legal protections and the de jure actually gotten them ensconced in writing in a constitution, etc.
But how is it not the weakest sand on earth to say that we need to enforce these rights that I just made the up? Because they're not grounded in anything. I just made them up.
And you think that them being grounded in God makes it more superior?
Well, I think that the only argument that you can give to men, the benevolency of the patriarchy, is the entire appeal from people with your worldview is to appeal to us and our view. who believe in rights because of God and say to us, don't we deserve them too, even though we don't actually even share the view? To which I tell Christians,
No, that's interesting for him to put it that way. That's interesting. That backs him in the corner right there. We're sharing our rights with you. I like it.
no, give them nothing because they're appealing to your benevolence, and they should beg for you to be as benevolent as you are, because from their worldview, they have nothing to ground it in. Like you said, you have nothing to ground it in. You just made them up. Why should I believe him? Why should I believe that you have a right to do anything? You don't even believe you have a right to do anything.
Why should I believe in like divine command theory and that because God says it is, then it is?
That's the beautiful part of the argument. You don't. Because if we're operating off of your view,
but why should I?
I'm just gonna grant that it's false. Who cares? If we're both building it off of a house of sand, and I just made up divine command theory, and you just which, by the way, I don't believe in divine command theory, but if I did,
I'm sorry.
Okay, if I just grant that I made it up, it doesn't help your position a bit.
What is divine command theory?
It only helps my position. Hang on a second here. 1 second. It only helps my position. Sure, I made the whole thing up. How's that helpful to you?
Well, I'm asking, how do you intend to spread this to people that don't believe in your worldview?
With this argument. Because you're going to have to appeal. You're going to have to appeal to my worldview, whether it's true or not, because it's the only one, right? Which I'm going to postulate. I'm going to ground rights in. You just got done saying rights are not grounded in anything. So if that's the case, fine. I lied and made the whole thing up. But rights aren't grounded in anything anyway, so it doesn't help you a bit. If I take them away.
But you think they're grounded in the divinity, so I'm saying that a lot of people.
So you're appealing to my view again?
Yes, I'm appealing to you.
Exactly. She has to appeal in this conversation so far. She has to appeal to Andrew's structure of how he has this built. She's already admitted that everything's made up. These rights are just made up. I mean, she has to, in order to ground her thought process here, adopt Andrew's philosophy. I mean, he's already backed her in the corner and has forced her to agree with him, no matter how she twists her words.
To your view, and in a world that's increasingly secular, how do you intend to persuade people? Do you think that Christians ought to be using force or persuasion?
What do you mean? I'm sorry. Me? Why do I need to do anything when the view of my opposition is that they have no rights, can't ground them in?
I'm not saying that you need to do it. I'm asking you how you intend to.
This is how I intend to do it, by pointing out that you live in your whole house is built on sand.
Persuasion.
And you have to literally appeal to me. Well, even if I used force, you have no appeal against that. Nothing's grounded in anything. It's all made up.
Sure. Yeah. I guess I sleep fine at night knowing this or whatever. I guess I would consider I'm like a moral anti-realist. I don't believe in these sorts of like.
And that's why you have to. And you guys always have to appeal, you moral anti-realist, to moral realists who believe in moral facts, because that's what prevents us from all of you.
But to answer your question,
but hang on. Isn't that true? That what prevents us from all of you is you're appealing to our benevolence as moral realists.
You mean Christians? What prevents Christians from?
That makes sense. He's literally back there in the corner real bad on this one. Well, I mean, truth be told, I mean, you have to, appeal to the Christians. I guess they would look at it as maybe a weakness of the Christians, that they are kind and looking after people's thoughts and don't overreact, and they have a backing, a God backing that would prevent them from just wiping out the planet or just killing people that don't agree with them. You're right. I mean, that's what they appeal to constantly, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe so, but okay.
Yeah, they're not appealing to their Christianity and Christian ethics to just not go ahead and all women.
No, I don't think so. No.
Why not?
That's the word I was trying to find in my brain a while ago, was the Christian ethics. I just couldn't get it out.
I don't think that that has necessarily been the basis for people arguing for equality or whatever. I don't think that you're presupposing that it's always been
Never
by
seen
virtue of like appealing to Christian benevolence ethics, etc.
never seen any appeal that was not dogmatic and religious for why women have rights ever in all of human history. They always appeal to a God. They always appeal to a higher power. They always appeal to something external to them. You just got done saying it's not grounded in anything. You made it up. If it's completely made up, it's not grounded in nothing. Then you're appealing to Christians and Christian benevolence and their view. Even if it's not true, you're appealing to their view that they believe it's true, to not just stuff you in a cage. And if you said that's wrong and they asked you, why is it wrong? You'd have to say, I don't know. It's not grounded in anything. I just made it up. And that's the most persuasive argument on planet Earth, in my opinion.
I think that the founding fathers sat around and had this conversation, and they're like, look, we know through all human history, rights were dictated by who had the guns, who had the strength. We have to change that because it constantly, Goblin King switches hands. The next strongest guy overthrows. Oh, so they're like, let's say it's from God. Or they really believed it. I know they were like Christian dudes. Not all of them were like Catholic or anything. I mean, they were all their own. Thomas Jefferson wrote his own Bible. What's that?
I said very few were Catholic.
Yeah. So they said, let's just appeal it to God. Whether or not it's true, I don't know. I don't know what God is.
But they knew that the moral order depended on a Christian worldview. The more you go into like arbitrary kind of reason for rights, even if they weren't Christian. I think was it John Adams that said a democratic republic is only fit for a moral and Christian society.
There's actually several foundational contributors who talked about how a morality, there has to be a shared sense of morality inside of a public in order for there to be a republic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's true. I think that's true of any society. I think there has to be some shared glue, right? Here we used to have like patriotism. We used to have all sorts of things that were a shared glue. That's all gone, right? Now I have to share my country with communists, right? And it used to be that we persecuted communists. And yeah, that was so base. We get back to that.
See, this is what he's saying right here is exactly what I say a lot of times. There was a time when these types of thought processes and philosophies would not be allowed. There shouldn't be a communist party or communist propaganda in a free society like we live in. I mean, I know people will say, well, it's free society. They can believe what they want to believe. That's fine. But there shouldn't be things, there shouldn't be allowed to publicly stand on the corner. Not well, they could just it's like this right here. I'm not. Why even give this woman a platform? I mean, this she wouldn't make it a week years ago saying this stuff.
Back to persecuting the communists. But the point is like this type of poison, in my opinion, is so invasive to the fabric of the United States that people who literally tell me they can't ground anything in nothing, know that they can't ground anything in nothing, that there's no such thing as moral facts, then tell me it's wrong if I stuff them in a... And it's like...
He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right what he's saying here. These people have they literally, it's just how they feel. I feel like, there's nothing... It's unbelievable that when you sit back and think about it, like Andrew's talking right here, it's pretty shocking that it's a possibility that these people can become in power and they have no grounding or anything, and they can just, because we just feel like persecuting you, we feel like doing certain things to you, or destroying half of a population. It's okay because they have nothing stopping them. It's just how they feel. It's how they feel. Where the person that grounds themselves is at least a God to guide them to not do certain things. Anyway,
what are you talking about? That's the stupidest that I've ever heard in my life, but that's my opposition, unfortunately. And so they appeal to the benevolence of those like me in order to prevent us from doing the thing that they don't want, that they don't even believe we shouldn't do because there are no moral facts. That's the state of the world that we're in.
And Andrew is very magnanimous for not stuffing lowly communists like me in gulags and whatnot.
Were you always?
Yeah,
did you
well, I
always
mean, from
consider
your
yourself feminist?
view, how is that anything but benevolent? Why shouldn't I? As a moral anti-realist, why shouldn't I do that? What would make that immoral? Tell me, what would make it immoral as a moral anti-realist for me to stuff your in a gulag? What?
It's a more consequentialist outlook that I think that based off the outcomes.
Wait, there's no moral facts, right?
No, they're not real facts. No. But,
so then there's nothing I'm really doing that's immoral, is there?
No.
No.
Again, it's highly no. I disagree with you. I'm saying
in a gulag, is that immoral? No.
It's no. It's immoral, but not under the same framework. I'm not using the same the moral realist framework to say that it's wrong. It's wrong for other reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you believe in objective truth?
No.
No. Is that true?
Subjective.
Okay. So you believe in you don't believe in objective truth.
Are you
and
like
if
a math realist?
Hang on, and I ask you if that's true, and you say no, that's not true either. So I can't believe anything you say, and you don't believe that there's any such thing as rights, but it's wrong for me to do something bad to you, even though there's no moral facts. Ingenious. This is your opposition, ladies and gentlemen. These are the communists who are taking over academia and teaching your kids.
Wow. Wow. Once again, Andrew comes in and takes like scorched earth, destroys the arguments, and they have no way of getting out of it because he's just using basic logic, I guess you would say. This one was really bad because I mean she just agreed to everything Andrew said. I mean, just be honest about it. Andrew said several things, and she just it makes her look bad when she but I have to give her respect because she's being honest. And so I mean, dang, this was a rough one. So anyway, I appreciate you stopping by the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Until next time, see ya.